hello, Disney. You're going to have to redo your film again because this woman is a pig and you fired Gina Carano for far less than this nonsense.
And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces and people still line up to see her.
Oh my God.
And I can only hope.
What does that mean?
That despite my flaws and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
Rachel Zegler just faced one of the most brutal Hollywood moments imaginable. Snow White was supposed to be Rachel Zegler's biggest role yet, but now everything is falling apart. With massive backlash from fans and critics, the controversy has spiraled out of control. So what happened to Snow White, and what does this mean for Disney's future? Join us as we uncover the shocking details that changes everything. As Rachel Zegler's fame grew, so did the challenges. The first signs of trouble started to emerge when her casting in Snow White became a flashpoint for controversy. While many celebrated her casting, others weren't as welcoming. Critics and fans of the original 1937 Disney animation voiced their concerns, arguing that Rachel, a Colombian American, was an odd choice for the role of Snow White, a character traditionally depicted as white. These concerns quickly turned into attacks. The online backlash was fierce. Memes, tweets, and videos flooded the internet.
She's now bragging about the success of Snow White, which is a movie that's going to lose hundreds of millions of dollars, and mainly because of her, and because nobody wanted to support her.
With some claiming that Disney was ruining the original character by casting someone they didn't feel fit the role. This backlash reached such a point that Rachel felt compelled to address the situation. In interviews, she stressed the importance of diversity and representation in the entertainment industry, while also defending the casting decision as a step toward breaking from tradition and offering a more inclusive version of beloved characters. But the controversy didn't end there. The growing tension over her casting in Snow White was just the beginning. Rachel also faced a barrage of criticism for comments she made in interviews, where she spoke candidly about the struggles of being a young woman of color in Hollywood. While many applauded her honesty, others viewed her remarks as too outspoken or out of line with what they expected from a new star.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird.
This put Rachel in a tough position. She was under intense pressure to balance her career aspirations with staying true to herself and advocating for the changes she believed were necessary in the industry. Behind the scenes, Rachel began to feel the weight of the media's gaze. The once adoring fans started to question her every move, and the public's expectations of her career were shifting. What once seemed like a clear upward trajectory now appeared to be under fire from every angle.
You guys, Disney's new live-action remake of Snow White debuted this weekend, and it's an even bigger dud than anticipated.
As if the Snow White controversy wasn't enough, Rachel Zegler's career took another hit with a shocking public backlash regarding her social media activity. And now, the devastating news that has left fans and Hollywood insiders shocked. Rachel Zegler has been dropped from her highly anticipated role in an upcoming blockbuster film. The news hit hard, as Rachel had been publicly enthusiastic about the project, and many believed that it would be her chance to prove herself as a versatile leading actress in Hollywood. Now, with this film off her plate, the question remains, what's next for Rachel?
Yeah, we had more dwarfs than we did viewers in most of these theaters. And as you know, there were no dwarfs other than some CGI weird generated version of them.
Is this a temporary setback or a sign that the pressures of fame might be too much for her to handle at this stage in her career? Fans are left wondering if this marks the beginning of a long string of setbacks in her career.
But this truly is the worst casting, maybe in the history of the film industry. Has there been a film with worse casting than this? And I don't just mean the Snow White actress. Obviously, she's terrible, but both of them.
But these guys at Disney, they're not that bright, they're not that smart, and we see that because they can't come up with any new IP. Why not write some new movies? You guys sit around, you have billions of dollars. They keep going back and rewriting the classics.
Studio, if you're a director, if you're a casting director, you've got to think twice or three times before hiring her. Listen, she's talented, she's attractive, she's got skill, but there are a lot of actresses in Hollywood who bring all that to the table and are not going to absolutely sabotage your work.
People have real problems and no one gives a shit if she got paid for 17 instead of 18 on her multi-million-dollar salary which is not calculated by the hour.
This is someone who is as entitled as, I don't need your business. You know what? Maybe Disney does. Maybe you're a tool, you're a pawn in this film. You didn't write it, you didn't direct it. You have nothing to do with the creation of Snow White. Right. You should shut up and do the job.
Her heroine cannot be in love or be saved by a man, the prince, that she's more focused on becoming the leader she was meant to be, as if women in modern day America must make that choice. Don't alienate half of the country when you're putting out a product meant to appeal to all. It's the Michael Jordan Republicans buy sneakers too. It's just a total nightmare for the studios. So now she's trying to sell like, oh, I love Snow White. I love everything about the whole story. Here she is more recently trying to change the messaging. This is actually Wednesday.
Agree that she's not as beautiful as Rachel Zegler. I cannot buy that.
This is truly like, she has to go. I'm sorry, Disney. She has to go. For every one of the 18 hours I am in the Snow White dress, I expect to get paid. If it's 18 hours, I want 18 hours of pay. I'm sure she got underpaid as a Disney lead actress.
Neither of them make any sense for their roles. We've already covered how Rachel Zegler is a terrible choice for Snow White. Nothing about her says Snow White, and that's even leaving aside the fact that she openly detests the story, as she's said many times during this disastrous PR campaign. But Gal Gadot, who plays the queen, the first problem is that she's the evil queen. The evil queen is supposed to be envious of Snow White's beauty, and that is just not believable. It is just not, even in a movie with magical mirrors and dwarves and all that, in a fairy tale, that strains my ability to suspend disbelief. I cannot buy that Gal Gadot is angry that she's not as beautiful as Rachel Zegler. I cannot buy that.
Controversy has swirled around Gal Gadot's new movie, also starring Rachel Zegler as Snow White. A lot of people don't like her. A lot of people don't like her either. She's got a big mouth. She talked trash about the original movie. So just how bad? The movie debuted in the United States at #1 with $43 million. Decent, but not a blockbuster. And far below projections. Internationally, a similar story. Overseas, Snow White took in $44.3 million in its opening weekend, bringing the total to just $87.3 million. With a budget of around $209 million. That means Snow White is destined to be one of the biggest bombs in Disney history. It will not recoup.
But you're going to hire little people to play the dwarfs? That just seems like a step backwards. And then, of course, Disney instantly buckled and said, okay, we're going to add magical creatures. And then the picture of the magical creatures leaked online, and everyone just had an absolute blast laughing at it. So the magical creatures are here in the movie. The CGI dwarfs are here in the movie. It works to a degree, but it's certainly going to be a financial hit for Disney, that's for sure.
Now, for Disney, as you probably remember, all of this publicity, the Zegler interviews, the Daily Mail leak, caused a lot of unexpected, for them anyway, pre-production problems. People weren't supposed to see and understand just how unwatchable the new Snow White was going to be. It was supposed to be, kind of a surprise, but now there was no hiding it.
Her West Side Story debut was not a hit, and that was a Spielberg movie, so that was kind of a surprise. But if you're
I know that you've told me before that your version of Snow White is different, and it's more of a 2022 version of Snow White. What did you mean by that?
I mean, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so.
Behind the scenes, you guys know as well as I do that those executives like Spielberg are looking at that saying, Rachel Zegler can F right off.
Given all the behind-the-scenes mayhem, I expected a Frankenstein's monster were seen to be stitched together. I think a lot of these live-action updates are really hard to watch. They've really done so much stepping on rakes over the last few months with this project where the box office is just not going to recover.
It's crisis mode when it comes to Disney having to backtrack.
I remember back in 2023 when this was going on and all the little people making videos saying, well, wait, there's so few roles for us in Hollywood. We're being passed over for this. You could have cast seven little
Peter
people.
Dinklage.
Exactly. They're like, Peter Dinklage, you're rich. We're not. We're trying to be extras, or, we're in Johnny Knoxville's Jackass if we're lucky. And so for them, they're like, you're not going to cast us?
In private, Rachel has spoken about the loneliness that comes with fame, the difficulty of finding genuine connections in an industry that often uses people for their talent and then discards them. She has learned to rely on a small circle of friends and family who understand how the industry can affect someone's mental and emotional well-being. With her career in flux, what comes next for Rachel Zegler? Will she be able to bounce back, or has the damage to her public image been done? What do you think? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and if you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe for further updates.